Yes, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah,
Morning, sir.
so today I'm going to give the demonstration about some other web locators. Now I'll be giving, date picker. Date picker demonstration. Yeah. So if you look at an application, what is that application? Automation. One second.
No chutney, only regular. Mera
Right. So if we come down to this particular website, there will be, there will be a picker called as a date picker. I hope you are seeing here. If I click onto this, you will be dropped down with a respective box, so where I wanted to pick up a particular date, like something called, December, like that. So how do we pick up this particular date? Whether this date picker is working fine or not, we wanted to test, isn't it? So now let's go to the, firstly, we have to inspect this particular page and we have to get the,
no place for
firstly, we have to get the, yeah. So here, if you look at the corresponding to this particular date picker, this is the relevant code where ID is equal to date picker. That's all. There is no name for this. So date picker we have to take into consideration. Now, so let's go to demonstration. So where from the Selenium import WebDriver. Right. So from the WebDriver, from the Selenium dot WebDriver dot common dot py. This is mandatory because in every Selenium version we are going to make use of this, isn't it? So import time is also mandatory, isn't it? So now I would like to go ahead about yeah. So now driver is equal to WebDriver dot edge, okay, at C drive colon drivers edge driver Win64 msh driver dot exe. then driver dot get. So here you're supposed to give this particular URL. So where, yeah, this is the URL we are working on it. Then we supposed to be driver dot maximize window. Now here we are supposed to be take code we need to write to locate date picker web element in the web page. In the web page. Right. So now, so let's suppose date picker is equal to driver dot find an element by dot id, where there is the id is date picker. Date picker will be an id, isn't it? So which is going to be which is going to be click, which is going to be click. So once it is going to click, it is going to be show to you, a respective window. So right. So next, write a code to give input a desired date to be displayed. So firstly, before going to write the code, just try to give some time dot sleep 5 seconds or 10 seconds, and then you have to be close the window. Driver dot close the window. Let me execute. So it is clicking onto this particular thing, and the calendar is visible to you. So the next code, what we supposed to do now, we have to pass the input so that the respective date is going to be chosen. Now date picker dot send underscore keys. Now, or else you do one thing directly. You rather than clicking on it, you pass the input value directly. So here you have clicked here, right? So rather than clicking directly, I'm going to pass the send underscore keys where I wanted to pick up the date that 24 January 2024. This date I wanted to choose. Now you try to be execute and see whether this date is going to be picked up or not. Maximize. Yes. I hope the desired date has been picked up. January 24th, 2024, I wanted to pick up. If you want to change the other date, you can choose. Let's other date is that 10th August 2024. This date I wanted to be picked up. So you check it out. Right. So the date is August 8th, 2024 is able to see. See here we are testing the date picker, means wherever the date would be picked up, desired date is able to picked up or not, we are testing, which means what? The date picker is working. If you want another picker, there is another picker over here. Where is that? Yeah, here also another date of birth picker. Here also we can able to pick it up. Clear? So if you click on it, so that the calendar will be visible, and we have to pass the input to this particular date of birth thing. We have to click on it, date will be displayed to you. Then we have to give the input to this particular thing. So first we have to click. Once the calendar visible, then we have to pass the input to this so that the date is going to be picked up. This is how different dates are. Yesterday we have seen another date. What is the date? We have chosen date as a one date drop down box, and month as a one more drop down box. Where is that application? Like demo.no So where the in the registration form, you have chosen date of birth in a three ways. What is the way? Here you have to choose date from a one drop down box, month from one drop down box, and year from one more drop down box. So date pickers will be different from each other. According to the given thing, we have to test whether the date picker is correctly working or not. So if the date picker will be like this, we have to write a code like this, If the date picker is like that, if the date picker is like that, we have to choose the right code like this. Clear? So like that, we can have a number of applications like that. Let me show you one more application that, uh, let's suppose this particular site. You see here also there is another date picker. So where if I click on this, it will be chosen the corresponding date. So firstly, we have to jump to the frame. So then we have to give this particular date. Similarly, we can have some other, date pickers. Like, there is a dummyticket.com. There is another web application. Copy, paste. So here, yeah, I think if you go down, yes. So there is another kind of a field where date of birth. So where if you click on do this, so it will display the corresponding calendar. So from that, we are going to pick up a particular date. So we have to check whether the date is able to picked up or not. We have to test as per your desired click. If the date is picked up, then hence we can say that the date picker is working correctly. Else we have to report that the date picker is, I'm about to pick one date, but it is giving another date like that. The complaint or report will be remarked given to the developer. This is how the testing would happen. Clear? So I hope everybody is clear about it. Yeah. So let's go to, there will be a slider. I think in this, there is no slider. Now you go here in automation. In automation, yes, this is a slider. Are you seeing, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is a slider. This slider is available in a number of places. Even though if you go to something called as Amazon. Amazon login. So where I think you have to sign in first. Amazon become very horrible. Sriram వచ్చినట్టున్నాడు వాకికి. Flipkart. జ్యోతి శ్రీరామ్ వచ్చాడు తలుపు తీ ఆ, ఆ. Yeah. So you are seeing this particular screen now. So here, you can just take this particular URL. You go to, yeah. So now let's take another particular thing. Slider demo. So where all these are the common lines. Copy, paste. So firstly check, is that working or not? Time.sleep, 5 seconds or 10 seconds. And driver dot close. This site is opening or not, you check once. Right. So we are at a right desired place. Now what is I'm going to display to you? If I move this cursor, if I move this there are, this is a sliding bar. This is a slider. If you move the left side slider to the right, it is an x-axis. The items are going to be changed accordingly. If you move the right hand side cursor slider to the left, according to that, the items are going to be changed. You consider this as an x-axis where this will be moved from one place to another place. This will be moved from one place to another place. So we wanted to test according to the moving the slide, the elements are going to be, changing or not, because my price is, minimum is from the 10,000 up to 30,000. I wanted to see the mobile phones. Then accordingly, the mobiles are going to be seen. Firstly, here we have to, we have to validate. Firstly, we have to get the, there will be another package is required here, that from the Selenium .webdriver import action chains. Action chains will be the another module, comma, keys. Okay, not required. Okay. So action chains are going to be another module is required in order to handle the slider now. So what I'm going to do here, so firstly, so we have to get the, because code to locate current positions of sliders, which means what? Minimum slider, maximum slider. So minimum slider is equal to so driver dot find an element by dot. Now what we supposed to write here? So we have to check where is the current position of minimum slider. You just right click on it and inspect. So the relevant code is going to be shown to you. So here there is no either input or output. So we have to take XPath. So we are going to copy the XPath here. This is the XPath of
మనీష్ బాత్రూమ్ వెళ్ళొచ్చు కదా సాయంత్రం అసలు బాత్రూమ్ ఒక 3 బాత్రూమ్ ఉంది 4 మంది ఇద్దరేమో
yeah. Right. So the next is that maximum slider is equal to driver dot find an element by dot XPath, where we supposed to copy from here. So now I'm going to pick up, second position where the XPath is going to be taken. Yeah. So that is going to be copied here. So where so once you are going to be picked up them, you can able to print them. We can able to print them, print current position of minimum slider, comma minimum slider, and we can able to print current position of maximum slider. Now execute and you check it out once. Because we have to observe what is the minimum position now current position of both the sliders. Now if you
The minimum slider change. Sir, at the print statement, it should be minimum slider, right? The first print statement.
సార్ మనం యాక్సెస్ చైన్ పక్కన కేస్ యూజ్ చేయాలి సార్ అక్కడ యాక్షన్ చైన్ పక్కన కేస్ యూజ్ చేయాలా?
ఇక్కడ
మనం పైన మెథడ్ తీసుకున్నాం కదండి సార్, యాక్షన్ చైన్స్ అని.
ఆ,
అక్కడ దాన్ని పక్కన కేస్ అనే యూజ్ చేయాలా?
కేసా?
కేస్ కేయుఎస్.
పైన తీసుకోవాలి.
యా కేస్.
రావట్లేదు ఇక్కడ.
అక్కడ ఖచ్చితంగా మనం యూజ్ చేయాలి సార్, లేదంటే అది యాక్షన్ తీసుకొస్తారు. అది
చూద్దాం.
అది మౌస్ ఓవర్ యాక్షన్ సార్. అది
ఏది?
ఆ కీస్ అనేది మౌస్ ఓవర్ యాక్షన్స్ గా యూజ్ అవుతుంది సార్ మనకి.
బట్ ఇక్కడ కీస్ ఎక్కడ యూజ్ చేస్తున్నావు నువ్వు? యాక్షన్ చైన్స్ యూజ్ చేస్తాం మనము మూవ్ చేయడానికి. కీస్ ఏం యూజ్ చేయట్లేదు కదా ఇక్కడ.
వాతావరణం జీవాతం బొట్టించి వారిని కాదు మొదటి వాతావరణం సాయంత్రం జీవాతం హాడసలు
Okay. See, there is a, property of the minimum slider is the location we have to specify here. Let's see, So here, if you look at, so we are taking the slider, and here the minimum slider is this, and this is the maximum slider. What we are trying to know, this is an x-axis, this is an x-axis. If the slider is horizontal, it is an x-axis we have to consider. If the slider is vertical, we have to consider this as a y-axis actually. So in some applications, the slider will be in a vertical manner. Some applications, the slider will be in a horizontal manner. So now, if you look at the current position of this particular x-axis is at 18th, it's a pixel. This 18 is, indicates it's a pixel. And y-axis will be there at a 331 pixels. Okay. So here, within this, always the y is going to be a constant, isn't it? And comes to, this is the minimum slider. This particular value is related to this. This is related to this, isn't it? So it's a maximum slider. On the x-axis, minimum slider is located at a pixel called 18. On the x-axis, maximum slider is located at a here. So y is always, it is a constant because y is 0, obviously, right? Now, what is our observation is required? If I move this particular, cursor to here, so we have to add the value. We have to add the value to the 18. And if you want to move this particular cursor to here. So we wanted to deduct the value. We have to subtract the value from the 254. So that accordingly it is working or not, we wanted to test. So here subtraction and addition. If you want to move the left slider to right side, we have to add some value to this. If you want to move this right hand side cursor to the left hand side, we have to deduct the value. That's the thing we have to do now. So after that, after this, you take little breath and then now you have to write a code now. What is the code? We have to write a code, here action signs are required. So use of action signs is required now because methods comes from the action chains. So ACT is an object which is going to be action chains applied on the driver. Parameter is going to be driver, right? So now here we use there is a method is called as a drag and drag and drop by offset method, which comes from the apps, action chains. Now what I'm going to do here, so firstly so I'll be move minimum slider to max. For that I'm going to write a code now. So what I'm going to do here, ACT dot drag and drop offset. This drag and drop offset will be comes from the action chains. For this, I'm going to give the parameters. What are the parameters? I'll be go now. So minimum slider, comma. The current cursor was earlier, it was there at a 18th pixel. The current cursor X value was at 18th cursor. Now, if I move the value here, if I keep a value to 185. So from 18, I have added the value to 185 so that the left-hand side cursor will to move to the 185th pixel. Then the Y value will be the 0. So 185 will be X value will be moved to the right side. Y value is constant. Therefore, it is going to give as a 0. Then we are going to apply, there is a method is called as a perform method. What's happening here? So let's after which just to print the value. So time dot sleep, and after 5 seconds you print the value of the minimum slider. That's what we can able to get to know is that moved or not. Print after moved minimum slider position. According to that, the values are getting changed. Now here minimum slider dot location. Now you see once. Let us check. Okay. No, it's not getting changed. Let's, you can make this as a 300, otherwise 250 you can add. For 10 minutes. నేను 10:30 కదా ఆన్ చేయండి
జస్ట్ 20 minutes ఎందుకంటే వాయిస్ నాది లేదు వాళ్ళ దగ్గర
ఓకే
మీరు మాట్లాడండి